Welcome to Pardon the Penetration. I am Jay.
And I'm T.
And this week we are going to talk about the U.S. House and Senate debating a privacy law for the U.S. Mozilla Fair's encryption law could turn its employees into insider threats. Researchers break e-signatures for 22 common PDF viewers. And the app TikTok to pay record fine for collecting children's data.
And I'll be talking about a 19-year-old bug bounty hunter that has made a lot of money over the last couple of years. Nigerian scammers are now targeting K through 12 and nonprofits. And also there's a advanced persistent threat group out of China that has been avoiding detection for quite some time.
All right. Well, to begin, the U.S. House and Senate debate a new data privacy. So our favorite topic to talk about always.
I say GDPR for $500.
Yep. Okay. So 91% of consumers, including me, they feel like they've lost control over their data.
No, I completely agree.
So this week, the House and the Senate are holding a hearing on privacy legislation. So talking about, how your data is transferred, controlled, stored, all of that. The only thing is, in the meeting that they had last year, there were no consumers.
So who was there?
Businesses. So these were like tech companies, small and large businesses. But even though I guess the people of the U.S. and the Senate are, consumers themselves, it doesn't seem like they have the interest of actual consumers.
No, of course, it's the people who probably gonna get hit with fines and things like that. They just want to make sure it's a little sweeter on their pockets.
Pretty much. And the committee, they're not too happy about doing, a data privacy law.
Right.
Because of the EU's GDPR, along with California's Consumer Privacy Act. But the EFF is calling for creating an information fiduciary
There you go.
For large internet companies that collect user data, such as the rule would impose a duty of care and loyalty on large internet companies. So hopefully we hear in the next couple of weeks how that turns out. Right. But I hope that they do have the best interest of consumers at heart.
Right. Could be pretty big. And you know how we've always talked about, kind of want to hit it big. We're trying to figure out, student loans is a big thing. How we're going to get to pay it off. We may have a solution. We don't have to hit the lotto. We don't have to do all that other crazy stuff.
Is it legal?
Yes, it's totally legal.
Okay,
trust me on this. Man. Bug bounty hunters are now they're scoring big. One guy is a 19-year-old self-taught hacker. He actually earned $1 million not last year, but over the course of his hacking career, and he's only been doing it for a couple years. I think he started in like 2016. He saw the movie Hackers, which I never saw, but that was his inspiration for why.
What? No disrespect to hackers, no disrespect to the security culture, but it's a subpar movie at best. How old is he?
He's 19. So he did this a couple years ago, so about 3 years.
Okay, makes sense. That would be inspirational to him.
Yeah. So he said he wasn't in it for the money when he started. He was just trying to help solve complex issues. He started off making $50 for his first bug that he found. And then from there, he went and he's discovered 1,600 vulnerabilities, which he's reported to Verizon Wireless and also Twitter. HackerOne, who compiled this list, decided to look at what all of the bug bounty hunters made over the last year, and in 2018 they made a combined $19 million off profit. So we can go sign up for HackerOne. It's free courses, and we could get started with these couple CTFs and things like that.
That is career goals.
Oh yeah.
Did they see how he was living?
Hey, they didn't say they had MTV Cribs go out there yet, but I'm pretty sure he's living pretty good.
I want to know what a 19-year-old does making at least being a millionaire.
In Argentina, I'm chilling on the beach somewhere. It's just me.
I think I need to check if I got family members.
Okay, well,
Argentina.
Then we know that you're going to retire from this podcast, and then it'll just be me up here with Jay, the other Jay.
Of course, I will never forget you, though.
You didn't deny that you're going to quit. Okay.
Well, since we are already international, this story has to do with Mozilla and a new encryption law from Australia. So Mozilla fears that this new encryption law could turn their employees into insider threats.
Interesting.
Yeah, Mozilla has told the Australian government that the anti-encryption laws could turn its own employees into insider threats because TOLA, TOLA, is Australia's attempt to provide the government with access to encrypted communications. It enables the authorities to ask technology companies nicely for help to decrypt a user's communication using an order called, TAR, TAN, and they have one that's a TCN. So basically what this encryption law says is, hey, if we ask you, the government comes to you and asks your company to decrypt anything, you go ahead and do it for us. If you, for whatever reason, you say, hey, the way we encrypt stuff, we don't even have access to, we're not able to do that.
Like Apple did with the...
Pretty much. Okay. They're going to come with another, subpoena or notice and say, make it work. Make your code so that we are able to have access to it.
Wait, so what they're saying is they're coming to anybody else in this company, doesn't even have to go through legal or anything like that, and they say, hey, we need you to lower your encryption standards here because we want to get into it because we need to see this.
Pretty much. So that is Mozilla's concern, is that TOLA's language allows authorities to make these requests to individuals instead of the company, instead of going through, the proper process, like you said, contacting legal. They can just, go to the employee, and it's kind of like, hey, decrypt this for us. Do you want your job, or do you want to go to jail?
So first off, I live in Australia where there's 7 of the most deadliest animals that's walking or flying are in the ocean. I already got to worry about that. And now you're telling me if I don't decrypt this to your standards, if I don't decrease my encryption standards, you're going to throw me in jail like that? It's a lot to worry about already. Like, my life is stressful enough as it is.
Yep. So I can definitely understand why Mozilla would be concerned when it comes to encryption.
No, completely. I think this is a terrible idea.
I don't know how they let it fly, but we'll see.
One thing I hate besides terrible ideas is when people try and scam me. So we've all had those emails, those phone calls from overseas, like Nigerian Scammers. You didn't get a Nigerian Prince emails?
Nigerian Princes ain't got my number.
He wasn't checking for you?
No.
He could have been actually giving you legit money, but we'll never know. But there are a group of Nigerian scammers, they call themselves Scarlet Widow, who have been targeting K through 12 and also nonprofit sectors. They have targeted schools in Indiana and Wisconsin. They have collected about a total of 30,000 contact information over 12 countries. And what they're doing is they're using this contact information to do some more bigger phishing stuff. They pose as like a bigger company such as United Way. And then from there, they sell all the information they get. I guess some type of way they sell it to get these fake gift cards. And they use these fake gift cards to buy cryptocurrency on this exchange called Paxful. And that's like their end goal because they're able to exchange it for Bitcoin once they have enough money and cash out because, Bitcoin is untraceable. So
this is a whole scheme.
Oh, yeah. The whole process is going. They know exactly what they're doing.
I wonder what led them to try to go the K through 12 and nonprofit route.
I think maybe one, there's a lot of K through 12 places around schools in the especially in the United States. Mm-hmm. And then you also have the nonprofit organizations who they're probably thinking can't afford to actually spend the money on, their vulnerabilities or remediating things. So it's going to be easier for them to go a little bit more undetected. Their employees may not be as cyber aware, and just make it easier for them to get some information.
All right. Well, protect your kids.
Protect them.
And while you're protecting your kids, protect your signature. Your signature got a lot of power.
Which signature? Like the one I write on my check? What,
yeah, your John Hancock.
My John Hancock?
Okay. Yeah. Researchers break e-signatures in 22 common PDFs. Yep. Electronic signatures, are arguably better than handwritten ones, as they digitally hash the content of a document, and it just proves to viewers that are viewing the document that this has not been altered. So obviously it provides integrity for the document. But there's 3 kinds of attacks that were discovered in PDF viewers. The first one is the universal signature forgery one. This is where it allows it to forge the signature and not show that anything was altered.
Oh, wow.
The second one is the incremental saving attack. Most PDFs, they allow anytime you make changes, it will automatically save.
Right.
The flaw in this one is it alters the metadata to not update that so it doesn't show as any new changes were made.
Oh, wow.
So the document originally said, transfer 10,000. I can alter it to say 100,000, and you would not have known.
That's scary. It changed a lot of. They get hands on that, change some legal documents, things like that. So
pretty much. So that is kind of why this is a big concern. The last one is signature wrapping, and that's also, changing a few things in the document without it obviously being updated. Do you know which one was the least susceptible to these attacks?
Let's say Nitro PDF or Adobe. This is what I'm going with.
No. LibreOffice.
Open source.
Yep. So the only one that was susceptible was to the incremental saving attack, but it was the least susceptible out of the 22 PDF viewers. Researchers are obviously working with these PDF viewers currently to, help them fix the issue. Their advice is to make sure that you do keep your PDF software up to date.
Wow. So while we're trying to figure out if our PDFs are being changed and, everything's undetectable, there is a Chinese group called Bronze Union, and they've been operating since about 2013. They're an advanced persistent threat group, and for those who don't know what it is, it's when a threat actor is able to get inside a network and stay there for a long period of time undetected. They haven't been able to really detect them since 2013, but they have seen them operate and do some things here and there. So what's really interesting about it is they do espionage. So they spy on some, China. Shocks you that China's doing espionage? No, not at all.
No, not really.
So they have targeted some political and technology companies. They have used their espionage to find out cutting edge on weapons and other technologies. They spied on civilian groups. So they've been really under the radar. They use advanced methods where people are not being able to detect them. Sometimes they're in services and things like that. And what they do is they'll come into a system, infiltrate it, leave, and then they'll come back 3 months. And they come back every 3 months and they call it doing maintenance. Because if you think about all of our password policies, a lot of us tell people to change it every 90 days. So they're coming back in and they're making sure they're back into the system within 90 days.
Well, can you imagine an even advanced persistent threat is even doing like their own security reviews in a periodic time?
Yeah, they're like, they probably got a Jira ticket. They're probably tracking all this. They're ready. Like, it's interesting. They're following all the normal things you do, but they're just doing it maliciously.
Yeah, they're a full-blown organization.
Yeah.
All right. Well, China is not the only one that is collecting data, but TikTok to pay record fine for collecting children's data. Yep.
Whoa.
Do you know what TikTok is?
No, I have no idea. But obviously, we have to protect our children at this point.
Yeah, so TikTok is a video streaming app, and it has agreed to pay $5.7 million in a fine for allegedly collecting names, emails, and addresses and locations of children younger than the age of 13. And it is illegal under the U.S.'s Children Online Privacy Protection Act. This is the largest settlement ever handed down by the FTC. TikTok allows users to create short videos, like lip sync to videos.
So they just turn up on the lip syncing to Baby Shark?
I don't believe it's aimed at the age of Baby Shark children. They would need like a tablet and need to know how to record themselves lip singing.
Have you seen these kids these days? Like they turn up for Baby Shark. I think they'll figure it out.
Okay, I'm pretty sure kids that turn up to Baby Shark are like 4.
No. Have you seen Put It in Front of a Baby?
No.
You'll think it was Cash Money just dropped.
Well, the problem with the live streaming video app is TikTok is, besides it being, extremely popular, it's kind of hard to moderate it. So, it required users to provide an email address, phone numbers, username, and, your first and last name.
Right.
It even makes you you have to have a profile picture and even a bio, and you can chat in real time, and people can also send you direct messages. At one point, the app even allowed you to see who that uses the app is within a 50-mile radius.
That's pretty scary.
That's pretty unsafe.
With kids on there, yeah, that's very unsafe.
Pretty much. So that's why it's such like a big privacy issue, because they never got parental consent
Right.
for any of this. So besides the fine, the settlement also requires the app's operators to comply with COPA and going forward and remove all of the videos made by children under the age of 13.
Wow.
So be careful of what your children are doing in these apps. They were aware that, you know, they did have these young kids.
Right.
I think the app originally originated out of China.
Okay.
So it just took off, and then it just became such a big thing, and they got like so many downloads at the top of like 2018. So just, you know, forget consent. The kids love
making this money.
Pretty much.
Wow, that's crazy.
Do you have any church announcements?
I do not. Do you?
Yep. The Women in Security and Privacy, their DEF CON scholarship is now open. So be sure to go to their Twitter. That is WISP, WISP, Women in Security and Privacy. You can go to their Twitter page and find the scholarship to fill out the form and apply. But that's about it.
All right. Well,
this has been Part of the Penetration. I'm Jay.
And I'm T.
And that's it.